if you call your council member, the council member can tell the manager. We're the only people that can tell the manager what to do. The manager tells everybody else what to do. So
That's his job.
And that's the council management form of government.
And that would be the District 3 councilman.
Yeah, we're District 3, which is one of those people. Yeah, but it is inappropriate for me to go to staff.
I'm just curious, how many employees are there at the county level?
Just about 3,000.
Yeah, we had that discussion. Like
Mr. Davis, you want to answer? Respond?
Yeah, we have a set of rules that were enacted by the citizens of Volusia County. It's called the county charter. Everybody voted on it. We're held by law to follow these rules specifically. And Mr. Purse is absolutely correct. We can talk to the county manager and the county attorney. It is actually against the county charter for us to walk over to that. If you're having a problem in the tag office, to walk in there and say, "Hey, we've got a problem."
I've got a lot more questions if we got time.
One more.
Mr. Percy, you stood up there and told us that the county had to go in debt. Well, if you look around, well, I don't know about this crowd, but most of us that lives here in this little town, we pay our bills as we get them. If we don't have the money, we don't spend it. All the property that the county goes out and buys, there's two things that happen. You take that property out of the citizens' hands, which in turn taking it off of the tax roll. So somewhere that tax money's got to be made up, and guess who shares those burdens? We do.
Well, you are right. However, you got to remember that the people in Volusia County voted for those to tax themselves to buy those lands. So there is that extra millage, and we have to do what the people voted for us to do. When it comes to lands like that, like Forever Lands or Echo property, those are separate taxes that the people voted for. So, you know, our hands are kind of tied on something like that.
Mr.
But I
Davis.
understand your point.
Well, it's very simple. This, I got a 3-step guideline, and I think it's very simple and basically it's common sense. We all have to go through this every month because, let's be honest, there's too much month at the end of the money. Correct?
Exactly, that's what it's saying.
So here we go. Here's our 3 steps. Do we need it? Not want. Do we need? If we need it, okay. Can we do it without throwing more taxes? Raising your tax rate. And number 3, what is the long-term cost of dealing with this project? And, you know, is it going to cost us another $200 million or maybe $3 million and we're done with it after a year or two? So those are the guidelines. And trust me, if we don't need it, we got to raise a tax to do it, and it's going to be too expensive in the long term. I'm sorry, I vote no.
One more person? Anybody else? Please identify yourself.
Jeff Bracy, Oak Hill. Question I have for you is, for all these years you went to a county meeting, and I've always heard this from county council members. I nicknamed them the 7 Queens. The question is, well, here's the question. I've heard this from Bob Tuttle from way back. We rubber stamp staff. You guys ever thought about getting out and talking with the people and not rubber stamping staff and see what the people, the voters of Volusia County really need and want? And number 2, down here in our ditches, we need your crawler. It's like a spider, and it gets into the ditches and it crawls. When can we expect to get that down here? Thank you.
Okay, the crawler is really not part of our venue that we get to play with. That goes to the departments of transportation, I think, answer that thing. The maintenance guys, they do that. But you know, all we got to do is get somebody like the county manager involved and say, hey, Oak Hill needs the crawler. Come on down here. Can we get it working down there? No problem. Your first question. Did you say that first question? Because you kind of threw it.
It was a mutual joke
Oh, the
about
rubber
10 or
stamp.
15 years ago,
Yeah.
7 Queens. But it always seems like you go to a meeting in
Right.
Volusia County, the council members, well, staff recommended this, and we normally rubber stamp whatever staff says. I'd like to see the council start getting out amongst the people in Volusia County
about that?
and picking up.
That's how I run this campaign. That's what I do. I go to these particular debates, but I'm also the guy that's standing out in front of Walmart, handing out my business card to people and saying, "Hi, I'm Jason Davis, and I'm running for your county chair. How can we help you?" I did a little quick impromptu survey and asked people, what is the biggest issue that's on your mind here in Volusia County? Do you know our county is split? If you're on the west side, it's all about jobs. If you're on the east side, it's all about taxes. And you know the really sad part, folks? 61.3% out of 200 people that I asked said, "I don't know. I don't follow local politics."
Mr. Persis, quickly.
I appreciate the question, and I can imagine how things were then, but well, the good news is things have changed. I think with just the technology that we have now, we hear a lot more from people, and people aren't shy about letting us know their feelings. And so we do go to staff, and often what the public doesn't see is by the time that staff member goes in front of the county council, it has had many revisions from the input that council members have given to staff, which mainly has come from the people. So I will tell you, things are much better now, I believe, than they were even back when I was mayor in 1999. I see a tremendous, much more involvement from the citizens when it comes to policies. And of course, we all know people get concerned about policy when it affects them. When it gets close to home or something, then they really get excited about it. But I do think we do a better job. Could we do even a better job? Probably. But I do see things are much better than they were 10 years ago.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. I'm feeling in a generous mood, so I'm going to give each of you 2.5 minutes for a closing. And I'll start with you, Mr. Davidson, please. When it's over, it's over.
Well, folks, to sum this all up, voting for me, Jason Davis, for Volusia County Chair. The race here, it's about changing the direction of Volusia County from a tax-producing county to a tax-reducing county. As I spoke earlier, my 3 points. Do we need it? How much is it going to cost us? Do we have to raise the tax? And what's it going to cost us in the long term? As I said, if those things are too high, the cost of that project is just too high, the answer is no. And if any proposition that comes before our county council slows down our ability to reduce our county debt, then I'm going to vote against that also. Saying no to the same old people, because folks, let me tell you, the same old people will get you the same old results. They've been there. They've been doing this. Sometimes, just sometimes, the experience is not a good thing. So help me change the direction of Volusia County. Let's go back to a tax-reducing county council, and I would love to ask for your vote on November 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Persis. 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this county. I have dedicated my life as a public servant, as a educator here for 35 years, a principal for 28 years, a city commissioner and a mayor for 7 years, being on the Volusia County Council for 7.5 years. I have dealt with many difficult decisions. These things are not easy. It takes a background in government to say that you want to be the county chair. The county chair is the highest elected official that we have. It'd be like someone coming off the street and saying, "I want to be a school principal." Well, I think that's very good that you want to be a school principal. Have you thought about going back to college first and becoming a teacher? Because you need to teach for a while. You need to become an assistant principal. And then maybe we'll talk about considering you for being a principal. So while I think it's noble that Mr. Davis wants to be the county chair, the proof is he really hasn't had any prior training in any of this. We're talking about a $600 million budget. We're talking about 56 different agencies. We're talking about enterprise funds and not enterprise funds. This isn't a place for on-the-job training. This is serious business. And this new council and the new county chair will have to take on 3 new county council the members, and they're going to be looking for someone with experience to guide them correctly.
Thank you, and please, a round of applause for the two gentlemen. Thanks. Appreciate it. Great job.
Thank you.